most people, Friday is just a day before the weekend. But after this Friday, the neighborhood will never be the same.
That's not my punk! I'ma kill you and Smokey, cause you playing with my phone.
That's cool.
Damn! You ain't got to lie.
I wanna eat some of them chitlins. I love pig feet.
You got to be a stupid motherfucker to get fired on your day off.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh man. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
Craig.
Bye, Felicia.
Chris Miles here, and I'm here to give you 10 things you didn't know about the movie Friday. Y'all, when this movie came out, it was huge, man. Everybody loved this movie, man. It was the funniest movie ever made about the hood, hands down. And put Chris Tucker on the map and so many other people. Ice Cube wrote the script along with his buddy DJ Pooh, the guy who played Red. Cube said he wanted to make this movie because most of the hood movies were about violence, drugs, poverty, and he wanted to make a movie that reflected some of the fun times in the hood. You know, it wasn't always gang violence and colors. So in this movie, we're going to talk about some of the fun facts. What role Tommy Davidson and Chris Rock played in the movie. And, why did so many other people in the first movie didn't return for any other sequels. Alright man, let's just go on and jump into it. Without further ado, from least to greatest, 10 things you didn't know about the movie Friday. Before we begin, we will ask the big question. Now it's time for the big question. When Craig got fired, who really did steal those boxes? We are on location here in LA at the actual house that was shot in the film. So, the owners of the house have been so kindly to allow us on the property. So come on, let's go check it out. I'm about to get hit by a car.
Yeah, I almost got hit. Ironically, exactly where the Reverend almost got hit. With the green car too.
So me and my cousin went there not knowing what to expect. So we wanted to be in and out so we wouldn't bother anybody in the neighborhood. To our surprise, the people in the neighborhood were very friendly and welcoming to tourists, being very informational and helpful.
Like that.
Okay.
That was Bernie Mac. That was his stuff.
Wow, I didn't know that. See, that's what I'm doing. I'm making a documentary on things that people didn't know.
Oh,
and that's something I didn't know.
Well,
okay.
I'm going to give you this too. Y'all ought to give me more money because this something.
But this is the store that Ezel actually, he went inside and pretended to slip and fall. Here on location, they're actually closed on Sunday, so dang, I missed it. Don't get a chance to go inside, but maybe one day. That's what's smoking back there taking a dump. I will go back over there.
So if you guys are ever in LA, please stop by Miss Parker's house. Here's the information. And please, wherever you do, give this guy some money. So, the big question is, who stole the boxes that got Craig fired? Stay tuned to the end of the video and we're going to go over that. Number 10. Turns out we be getting Bye Felicia all wrong. Going from least to greatest, we'll just start out with an easy one. Remember how everybody was using hashtag Bye Felicia?
Drag queens brought it back 20 years later.
Well, it turns out that we were all spelling it wrong. The character's name in the movie is really spelled Felisha. Felicia was played by actress Angela Means. She didn't know till much later that Bye Felicia was trending on social media. In fact, Regina King didn't really even find that out till like 2 years ago.
I found out that Bye Felicia was trending in the same conversation that I found out my son got an offer to the University of Miami. When we were getting ready to hang up, he said, Bye Felicia. And I was like, oh, you didn't just say bye Felicia. He said, Ange, you don't know? That's trending. He said, you have Twitter? I was like, no. He said, punch in the pound sign and put in Bye Felicia. My jaw dropped.
Another quick fact, Angela has a son that was a college football star.
Brad Kea Jr. was ACC's Rookie of the Year in 2014 and selected in the 6th round of the 2017 NFL Draft. Angela's quoted saying she's fine with the bye Felicia thing, but she told her son, whatever you do, don't put that on my tombstone. Number 9. There was a short-lived animated series spinoff. As the film had great success, MTV thought it would continue the luck and spawn Friday into a cartoon. This cartoon would be the only thing in the Friday franchise to bring back the characters Smokey and Dana after the original movie. Although it was a creation of Ice Cube, none of the original characters contributed their voices to the cartoon. The most notable voice actor was Phil Lamar from Mad TV. He did the voice of Craig. I watched some of it. Man, it was pretty corny. It was horrible, actually. You know, not having the original voices really takes away from it all. The only thing you can really enjoy from it is seeing some of the old characters together again. Since it was on MTV, I think they should just use Mike Judge as a writer and producer of it. Mike Judge could have made it work. Number 8. Friday was filmed in Crypt Territory. The cast and crew were well warned ahead of time not to wear anything red during the filming. 126th Street, where the movie was shot, was well inside the territory of the Crypt street gang. So unless you lived under a rock, you know that the Crips were blue and the robber gang, the Bloods, were red. So the whole duration of the filming, nobody was allowed to wear red bandanas, shirts, nothing with red on it, because they could have been attacked by any of the Crips that were all around that area. Number 7. Where are all the white people? You know, I've watched this movie 1,000 times over 3 decades, over and over again. And until I done my research, I didn't know there aren't any white people. There are no white people in this film at all. Come on, y'all. Let's try to find some white people. Let's see if we see some white people in this movie.
Ooh, I see one.
No, that's a Mexican. So after carefully examining this fact on my own, in this movie, you see black people, you see 2 Mexicans, and you see 1 Asian, but no white people. Wow, before I did my research, I ain't never noticed that before.
I see white people.
This reminds me of the movie The Logan's Run that was made back in the 70s, 80s, or some old movie. And it's about a post-apocalyptic times on Earth. And it just so happened not to have any black people in it. So, I mean, I don't think any of these things were maybe done on purpose. I don't know. I know there are like some white people in the hood. When I was there, I saw a few myself. So maybe it was just something that happened just by coincidence. Number 6. The Friday soundtrack did better than the movie. The movie Friday debuted at number 2 at the time of its release, and it ended up making over $28 million worldwide. Not bad for a movie that only took $3 million to make. And at the time, the soundtrack was doing even better than the movie. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard charts, and eventually the soundtrack went double platinum. It also spawned a massive hit for Dr. Dre, Keeping Their Heads Ringing. I actually watched this movie about 5 years before I realized the opening song was sung by the Isley Brothers. Other notable artists from this soundtrack are Roger Troutman, 2 Live Crew, Rose Royce, Rick James, Mac 10, Cypress Hill, Scarface, and none other than Ice Cube himself. Number 5. Ice Cube's director choice. Ice Cube was granted the license to select the film's director, and he decided on F. Gary Gray, who was a popular music director, notably for TLC's Waterfalls, Coolio's Fantastic Voyage, and Ice Cube, It Was a Good Day. Gray makes a cameo on my favorite scene where Ezell pretends to fall in the store.
I want 150,000. But we can start out of court right now for $20.
Man, get your punk up. It ain't even wet over here.
He's the guy that's mopping the floor. In fact, on the scene where Debo punches Red for asking for his bike back, that was F. Gary Gray's childhood home. The success for this film helped Gary Gray establish a foothold in Hollywood that he was aiming for. He went on to direct movies like Set It Off, The Negotiator, The Italian Job, and many other successful films. Number 4. Friday may be a sequel to Boys in the Hood. I found out that some want to suggest that in a parallel universe, Friday is a sequel to Boys in the Hood. Or better yet, Craig and Doughboy from Boys in the Hood are like the same character. No, I don't really think so. I think Craig and Doughboy are two different people. I mean, even the director was frightened to death thinking that Ice Cube's hardcore reputation was not going to work for a comedy. Well, all the speculation stems from Craig's clothes. It is said that the clothes that Ice Cube wears at the beginning and the end of the movie Friday are the same clothes he wore at the end of Boys in the Hood, continuing Doughboy's character into Friday. You know, maybe when you look at it, maybe to some degree it was done on purpose, but you know, Doughboy's shirt was black and Craig's shirt was dark green. Ice Cube throughout this movie also wears the same outfit worn by Ice Cube's son in Straight Outta Compton. The scene where he reports to Eazy-E having AIDS, also in the movie Straight Outta Compton, O'Shea Jackson Jr. plays his father as he's writing the script for the movie Friday. Me personally, I don't think too much into Ice Cube being tied to Doughboy. I just think those outfits are just like in Ice Cube's own parallel universe. Number 3. Overlooked details in the scenes in the bloopers. I'm just going to go over a few details that you may or may not have recognized when you watch the movie. Also note, I don't normally mention bloopers, but for the heck of it, let's just have some fun with it. In one of the scenes, Craig finds out that they have ran out of sugar.
I ain't got no sugar.
You ain't got no sugar? Damn.
Something you may not have noticed is that Craig's mother can be seen pouring the last of the sugar into her coffee while she's eating breakfast. Yep, this is the exact moment when the sugar got gone. Here's another. Once they do get some sugar, Smokey can be seen eating a sugar sandwich while they're getting high and watching music videos. Here's another that kind of gets lost in the action of the movie.
Give me a glass of water.
When Ice Cube's character is in the kitchen to bring his dad a glass of water, he drops an ice cube on the floor. A lot of people focus on the fact that he's doing his daddy wrong or acting out some type of revenge. But after picking it up, Ice Cube breaks the fourth wall by directly looking into the camera. When an actor breaks the fourth wall, it's when they actually look into the camera and acknowledges to the audience that they know that they're in a movie. But the irony in this is not so much that he's getting his daddy back. The irony is more or less that Ice Cube is picking up an ice cube. Here's another fact. That gold chain that Debo snatches from Red after he confronts him.
Well, my grandmama gave me that chain.
That really was a necklace that DJ Pooh's grandmother gave him. Tiny, aka Debo, in real life got butthurt over them drawers that they suggested he wore. He was like, why Debo have to have skids in his drawers? What was that all about?
I don't like the dirty draw scene, man. Ice Cube slid that shit in after I signed my contract. Put that stuff in.
The fact that he just got butthurt over that just makes it even more funny for me. Here's a goof. The little girl in the pink shirt looks right at the camera for a split second. On a scene where Smokey smokes with Hector, there are two guys in the background sitting in their own yard. They refuse to get out the shot, even after they were offered money and a chance to be an extra doing a walk-by.
The scene where Smokey walks up to Big Worm and says,
What's up, Big Perm? Big Worm?
that was actually a blooper that they kept in the film. And last but not least, when Bernie Mac just about got hit by a car, that actually was his brother. Yes, for this one shot, Bernie Mac had his brother play him as a stuntman. Number 2, casting choices. Can you imagine this movie without Chris Tucker? Well, originally DJ Pooh was supposed to play Smokey. The character of Smokey is based on DJ Pooh's real life as a petty drug dealer. Prior to writing this film, Ice Cube and DJ Pooh realized that they were unexperienced with filmmaking, and they pondered if any major production company would pick it up. They decided on approaching New Line Cinema. And New Line Cinema had some good success with the House Party series, so they wasn't afraid to do a hip-hop movie. New Line Cinema agreed to finance the project on one condition, that the character of Smokey be played by a well-known comedian with experience. Initially, the role of Smokey was offered by both Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson, but both of the comedians had scheduling conflicts and they couldn't do it. Ice Cube and Pooh immediately decided on Tucker after seeing him on Def Comedy Jam. The director F. Gary Gray has been quoted by saying he had to fight hard to get Chris in the movie. His first audition really didn't go very well. Angela Mean saw that Chris Tucker was struggling with his audition, so she advised him to come to dinner with her and her acting coach. And they said by the time that spaghetti was ate up, Chris Tucker had became Smokey. According to A.J. Johnson, the character of Ezel also was initially going to be played by Tommy Davidson. When Davidson was unable to fulfill the role, A.J. stepped in and played the neighborhood crackhead. A.J. got his popularity on a House Party movie. The story goes like this. A.J. was supposed to play this weird character, and a seasoned comedian, Robin Harris, was going to be roasting him on the set. Well, as the two was trading back and forth, much to their surprise, AJ actually held his own against Robin Harris. Robin Harris was one of the greatest. AJ done so well, they even deleted his comebacks towards Robin Harris and didn't put it on the movie. This certainly made him popular and got him some other roles. AJ said his inspiration for playing Ezel was actually from his crackhead brother. John Witherspoon played Pops. At the time, the most notable character in the cast, having far more experience than anyone else. On a side note, Witherspoon got his big break from the Richard Pryor Show.
Brilliant spoon on the end, a man who nobody gives a shit about. He since then has become a big doorman at a fabulous hotel. If you're ever at the Hotel La Rico, you will see him there. He's there when you park the cars. He's the one with you vomit in his hand.
I'm sorry to say, but Spoon passed away in 2019. He will be missed. This is the first movie debut of Megan Good and Marco Clark Duncan.
Bob Barker, when you gonna call me up, Miss Parker, Bob Barker, yeah.
According to Kathleen Bradley, she was immediately considered for the role of Miss Parker when Ice Cube saw her on The Price is Right, but she was one of Bob Barker's beauties at the time. Bradley was only 43 years old at the time of filming. Ice Cube personally pointed her out to his production company and said, "I want that, sister."
What are we talking about here?
Number 1. Why Chris Tucker didn't want to do the next Friday. Chris Tucker is arguably the best aspect of this movie. So with the success of the movie, why wouldn't Chris Tucker jump on the opportunity to play Smokey again?
Well, there seems to be a few reasonable reasons why he wouldn't. At first, what I heard was that since filming on the first Friday, Chris found religion and his ministers were like opposed to him playing someone that smokes weed.
What you doing in this church?
Upon more research, I found out that it was more likely had something to do with money. In an interview with Vlad TV, John Witherspoon confirms that by stating most of the actors outside of DJ Pool and Cube only made about $5,000.
He with Jackie Chan with that Rush Hour making $20 million. I wouldn't go back to Friday either.
So at that point, he was just making so much money he didn't.
He ain't gonna go back to no Friday.
Of course, when a movie banks like that, they don't give any money for extra bonuses, after the movie's finished. Also, in an interview with Vlad TV, AJ Johnson said he met with Ice Cube to discuss him being in the next Friday. According to AJ, the two of them discussed the pay and shook on it. 3 weeks later, they were filming without AJ. That was supposed to be AJ beside Debo looking for Craig. But instead, they gave the role to Kirk Jones, aka Sticky Fingers from the rap group Onyx. So, if you had the choice between $400,000 to do the movie the next Friday, or $20 million to do Rush Hour, what would you have chose?
Oh, thank you, Benjamin. Thank you.
And the crazy part about all this is, in real life, Chris Tucker really didn't smoke weed at all. But after the movie, everybody would always come up to him and saying, yo, I want to smoke weed with Smokey, man. So if he really did smoke weed, he said as much requests as he'd get, he would be high all the time.
And you know this, man?
Now that times have changed and weed is not illegal in most states,
Weed is from the earth.
it's rumored that Chris is open to rejoining the Friday franchise. So let's hope we can get another good blockbuster hit out of the Friday franchise. Now it's time to answer the big question. Who really did steal those boxes that got Craig fired? Well, in some of the deleted footage that they didn't put in the original video, it shows that Ezel was the one that stole the boxes that Craig got fired over. So that's the final answer. Ezel was the one that got Craig fired. I hope you like that. Stay tuned for the next video of Miles Beyond Media. Alright, that's it, you guys. That concludes our video, the top 10 things you didn't know about the movie Friday. I cannot wait to bring y'all the next one. So y'all hit that like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when the next one comes out. You guys, I'm going to keep it coming. I'm really enjoying my success. I like what I do. This is a craft. You guys, I also want to ask you guys a special favor. I don't normally do this, but I made a video about the 10 things you didn't know about the movie Coming to America. I think it's a wonderful video. Most people who've seen it really loved it and thought it was very informational. But some guy in a foreign country across the world beat me to the punch. My video doesn't come up in the algorithm. So you guys, if you like what I do, go ahead and check that video out. It's one of the best ones I had. It's a little long, but I love it. You guys, thanks again for the support. And I'll see you again on the next top 10 video.